Today I'm going to share with you how is it that you're going to choose a fever detection system. That is actually our first line of defense against the spread of the virus. Now, in the new normal that we are facing right now, there are a lot of places that are already implementing manual temperature taking procedures in order to comply with the regulations that is imposed by the government. But we know that having a manual temperature taken is actually a very laborious task, and it is also very risky in the sense that it does not practice social distancing. So what I'm going to share with you is only a few limitations of the manual detection system. Okay, obviously number one is that when your staff or your personnel and all things have to take the temperature of the person, there is no social distancing that is actually being practiced. There is actually a close proximity during the screening process. Number two is obviously because of the slow process, there will be normally large queues who will be waiting to do the screening process. Number three is obviously because you will need to have a manual record keeping process as well. The people who come into a premises or walk through a building will actually have to record their details manually in a notebook. Right? That can actually be very laborious as well. And obviously, when you have close contact between a large crowd and also your personnel taking temperature at a close range, then it actually increases the risk of transmission because of the close proximity. Okay? So what we'll go through now is that what are the things that you want to look for in a fever screening system. Obviously, how to choose one that is most suitable for you. Right? Now, the first question you need to ask is that if you need facial recognition of the person being screened, right? If your answer is yes, then what you would want to look for is actually a single or a workplace screening system. Now, if your answer is no, then you will want to go for a mass screening system. So I'll differentiate the two again, and I'll break down all the different aspects and the features and all those kind of things that you'll be looking for. Okay, for single workplace screening system, right? What are the functions and features that you should consider looking at? Obviously, number one, you want to know whether you are going to use it for indoor or outdoor setting, right? Whether it's within the office premise, office building, or within a retail premise, or you want to install a system in your guardhouse, right? The second one is that the number of facial images that you can actually store in your device, right? It can range depending on the number of employees you have, okay? But the systems that we have can actually store between 10,000 to 50,000 images of your employees, right? Obviously, scan speed is one of the important things. Whether you want to have something that is actually within plus or minus 0.3 seconds or plus or minus 0.8 seconds, right? The scan speed will actually facilitate the screening process that you have in your premises. And then auto record, obviously also very important, because the systems that you want to look for you will require it to have a timestamp for anybody who actually comes into your premises. They will actually take the temperature of the person. It will actually record the time and the date that the person comes in. And also very importantly, you want to know that the system that you choose, whether it's actually customizable with your HR system or your attendance system, and also to be able to keep records so that you actually can comply with government regulations. Now, for the mass screening systems that you want to choose, okay, what are the considerations or the features that you will have to look for, right? Number one is obviously because you will be screening a large number of people that's passing by at the same time. Obviously, what you want to look for is whether that the scanner will be able to scan at a distance. So you want to see whether it can scan from 0.5 meter or all the way up to about 6 meter, which is about 21 feet, right? The second one, whether this system can actually do a multi-detection of the people passing by, right? So some of the systems, they will say, okay, you can scan about 3 people at one time. The more sophisticated one can go up to about 12 persons per scan, right? Obviously, your scan speed as well, you want to have a very fast processor that actually can scan the temperatures of the people who are passing by and detect their temperatures, right? So it ranges anywhere from 0.3 seconds or 0.3 seconds to 0.5 seconds. Those are the parameters that you should be looking for, okay? Obviously, auto recording of the people who pass pass your premises and so on. Okay, the auto recording part of it is important in the sense that you will be able to detect anybody with an elevated temperature. So once you've already set your temperature settings, okay, if anybody has a high fever passing by a premises, the alarm will sound to warn you that there is actually people with a possible symptom coming into your place, right? So your people or your security and all will be alerted that there is actually a threat coming into your premises. And obviously, again, this system can be customized to your backend system, your access control, your HR or time attendance system, and also to be able to provide you with the compliance records to fulfill the government regulations. So when you want to choose a fever detection system, okay, these are the main points that you'll be looking for, regardless of whether it's a single pass unit or a multiple pass unit. Obviously, you want to know whether your system will be able to detect, will have facial recognition features. You will want to store your database of all your employees in there so that when they come in, the system will be able to identify who the person is. Okay. Number two, of course, is high scanning speed. You want a system that actually can detect temperature very quickly. Number three is safe scanning distance. You don't want to have something that is will scan it at too close to the person's forehead. You want to range maybe something like about 0.3 or 0.5 meter away at the minimum, right? You want to have something that is very high accuracy, something like about plus or minus 0.3 degrees to 0.5 degrees, right? You want to have an auto alarm to actually warn you in any event that somebody has an elevated temperature coming in as well. Okay, and then storage capacity of the system, obviously that's important because that will actually help you in keeping your records for compliance purposes. Okay, and you also want the system to be configurable, that is able to display the output or the visual images to multiple devices. You can actually display it on your mobile phone, you can actually display the output on a tablet or a computer, or if you choose to do it, you also can display it on a big screen TV if you like. And of course, whether it's configurable so that you actually have the record for compliance purposes. To get a better idea of what exactly it is that you're looking for in a fever system, perhaps it's best illustrated in the table that we've prepared here. Okay. Of course, the number one question that you still have to ask is whether facial ID is required. If that is one of the main parameters that you're looking for. What it means is that do you need to identify the face image of an employee within your database, right? Again, we go back to whether it is actually an indoor setting or outdoor setting. If the face ID is required, then we will actually go for a workplace or an individual screening range, right? If let's say the face ID is not really required, then you will want to go for a mass screening range. Okay, we go back for the individual or the workplace screening range first. Okay, the first thing is that you want to ask is whether you're going to be using it for indoor purposes or outdoor purposes. For indoor purposes, if your facial database requirement is about up to maybe 10,000 images that you want to record, you know, whether you want to have access control to be integrated together with the system, whether you want to have a scan speed of 0.8 seconds or so on, what we can actually do is we can categorize you as an A category. I'll explain all the different categories later on, right? The second range that we have is obviously for an outdoor scanning system for a single pass. The facial database can go up to 50,000, right? Again, this system is configurable to your access control and your HR system, and then the scan speed is much faster at 0.3 seconds per person, right? That will be categorized under a B category, right? So for the mass screening systems that we have three different categories that we can actually look at, right? Number one is if you're looking at a measurement distance of up to about 6 feet, whether it's, the system is configurable to access control or not, of course, whether what is the scan speed, what are the number of people that actually you can scan per pass, right? If you're looking only about 3 to 5 persons per pass, then we will actually categorize you under a C category, right? Then we move on to the middle range of the mass screening system, which is the measurement distance of up to 12 feet, and then configurable as well to your access control and HR system, able to scan about 6 to 8 people per pass, right? That will be under a D category. And finally, our higher end model, the scan distance is up to 21 feet. Okay, again, customizable with your access control and also your HR system, right, is able to scan about 9 to 12 people per pass for this. Okay, so for the requirement A, right, we're going back to the single screening range again. Okay, normally used for indoors, your employee database, you can store up to 10,000 images of your employees, right, able to have turnstile and access control and scan speed about 0.8 seconds. What we have, the product that we have is our basic model, which is actually the workplace ID, what we call the CS Facial Live ID model, right? This system is able to store again, like I said, 10,000 facial images. Recording time per scan is 0.8 seconds, configurable to your access control and also your HR system as well, right? The second one, requirement B, what we have is a single pass screening again. This can be used in outdoor settings, right? So it will be placed, if you require, under the guardhouse, where there is actually different, not a regulated temperature, you'll be actually subjected to the temperature that's outside. But it works well under these harsh conditions as well. It will have a storage capacity of up to 50,000 employees, so or 50,000 facial recognition. So it will be very useful if, let's say, in a setting such as a college or a factory where you have maybe up to 500 workers, 700 workers. This will be the ideal system that you actually can install. Again, these systems are all configurable to your access control and also your HR system, and it has a very quick scan speed of 0.3 seconds. This will be our Workplace ID Pro model, right? Which actually have, like I said again, up to 50,000 facial recognition storage capacity, right? So for requirement C on the mask screening side, right, your measurement distance, you don't have to have such a long range measurement distance. Let's say if it's a narrow passage that you want to monitor the people who are coming in, the distance scanning is up to about 6 feet. Then you can actually look at this system, which is C, which is actually our CS Gen Lite model, right? Again, this one will have about 3 to 5 people per scan passing through. This is one of the hybrid model that we also can use. It also can be used for a single screening measure, whereby you can take the temperature of an individual person passing by as well. And it also can be configured to your back-end access control, right? As for the mask screening, if you are looking for a longer range screening product, also customizable, this product we have, CS Gen 2 Pro, can scan up to 12 feet in the distance, can scan up to 6 to 8 people per pass, right? Has a dual screen, which means that you actually can have a visual screen and also a thermal screen, but then again, that is actually configurable up to your requirements, right? So it's actually more useful for places like schools, shopping malls, hospitals, airports, and so on. Okay? Now for our higher end unit, where you will require, for example, a screen distance, scanning distance of up to 20 feet or 21 feet, right? That actually can scan multiple people passing by at the same time, we will recommend our Gen long range model, or what we call the Dual Vision Gen 2 model, right? This system actually has a capacity to scan 9 to 12 people at one go, right? 0.3 seconds scanning speed because of the high capacity of its processors, right? Okay, so then again, going back to the table, if you're looking at the single screen range that you're looking for indoors, again, like I said, you're looking at requirement A, that will be our Workplace ID model. If you are looking for a single screen outdoor model, right, higher database for your facial storage, right, a faster screening speed, then you'll be looking at the B model, which is the Workplace ID Pro model. Okay? Now for the mask screening model, what we can recommend, if you are looking at not a very long distance scanning range, up to about 6 feet, maybe about 3 to 5 people per scan, then we actually will recommend the Gen Lite model that we have. Now, if you're looking at something that's up to about 12 feet in scanning range, right, 6 to 8 persons per pass, then we will recommend the Gen 2 Pro model. And finally, Of course, if you're looking at a very long range scanning, multiple people per pass at the same time, right, up to 21 feet in scanning range, up to 9 to 12 persons per pass, then we will actually be recommending our Gen long range model. Okay, so what differentiates us from our unique differentiation is that number one is that we have 5 different models that's actually catered to the specific needs that you will be looking for. Right? We are confident that we are one of the lowest cost providers based according to comparable specs. Right? Our systems are all scalable and customizable, right? And we've tested it under different conditions, and we believe that our system obviously can be used under harsh conditions, right? Okay, our second differentiation is our proof of capability. We've been able to demo and we've been able to show quite impressive results from our products, right? Of course, then our system, one of the key features is that we are able to integrate the system with your access control, your door system, your HR system, your time management system. All these are configurable under our products. Okay, right? And of course, we have nationwide support. We have a team that is able to provide you online response in case you have any issues with your products. And we have our own in-house development team that is actually dedicated to integrating all your products with your back-end system. Okay, so thank you.